Hello, my loves. It's me again, Asia, the Soulful Creatrix, and today I would like to talk about the 12 universal laws. I think that what's happening now is this strong push towards everyone's, as we're all coming through our awakenings as spiritual beings, and we're having our human experiences, and we're realizing that most of this stuff is pretty much made up, right? Reality isn't real, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there, but another video, another day, okay? That the ideas of manifestation and energy manipulation are avenues that we can take while we're in our human experiences and make our lives a little better, right? Like, why struggle if you don't have to? You know what I mean? And so manifestation has been, big on everybody's minds, it seems, right? If you're on the socials, everybody's, manifesting, attracting and manifesting, we're all attracting and manifesting. There are some keys to doing the manifesting that I feel like, if you have all of the tools, or if you have a grasp of the tools, then it could help you, and that's what I'm here for, that I can maybe help you a little bit. Feel free to help me a little bit. I would take all of the help I can get, I'm all for it, right? Because sometimes this shit is crazy, okay? I do wonder why we don't learn about the universal laws in elementary, right? Pre-K or daycare. Why is there not idea coming, okay? Why is there not storybooks and YouTube videos for little kids 3 years old talking about the universal laws? Can you imagine the amount of progress that we could make as a society if we were just all telling our children about the universal laws? Well, Asia, why didn't you tell your children about the universal laws? I'm gonna tell you why. I didn't know about them until I got into a big age. I think I was 35, 40, 45. I don't even remember. Okay, I know time not really a thing for me right now. But I was a big age. I think I even had big children at that point, okay? Before I learned that there were other universal laws out there, and that specifically just leaning in and digging in deep on the law of attraction wasn't going to get me anywhere, right? Now, we know how I am with the certifications. If I find one, I'm going to say, hey, let me try it, because I am a little bit of a certification junkie. I'm still working on my spiritual materialism, right? We discussed that in the spiritual materialism video, okay? Don't judge me yet, okay? I'm not ready to be judged yet. So I took the certification course on the law of attraction and using it as a coach to help clients, basically. And so while I'm taking the course, I'm really sitting there thinking, what about the other universal laws? How come nobody's talking about them? Why are we ignoring the other ones? How is the law of attraction the Michael Jackson of the 12 universal laws, and then all of the other ones have just been kind of thrown away and left out in the cold to just fend for themselves somehow? I don't know. So I would like to discuss the other universal laws, or some of the other universal laws that exist, as a way to maybe bolster our toolkits. I feel like that's why I'm here today, right? To bring light, shed some light on, Tito and Jermaine and Marlon, okay? Great. Michael's great, law of attraction, awesome. but there are 11 others that we can put together, create an arsenal. An arsenal sounds bad. And create a toolkit that you put together and use for your own good, for your own path. So, first of all, when we're talking about the universal laws, I'm not going to go in any like real order. I don't know that there is an order, okay? I am going to go based off of maybe a list I found online somewhere and just kind of go down the list, okay? Hopefully I get this in one video. But if not, I'll do another video. And if any of these topics, any of these laws are something you want to dig in deeper, I am considering opening up an actual course, right, on the universal laws and how we use them to manifest our best life, right? So it could be happening. Like, this could be a thing, you know? Actually, I was even thinking maybe for little kids, right? Shouldn't we do something for kids? Like a kids course? I don't know. Okay, thinking about it. But if any of it makes, resonates with you in any way, drop a comment, okay? I read all the comments. I would gladly love to know that at least I'm resonating with you somewhere on this, okay? Now, with that being said, I am going to get into the universal laws, right? So we're going to start off starting back at 1, like, Sir Brian McKnight said. The first law I'm going to discuss is the law of divine oneness, okay? And this law, very near and dear to me. I think I've mentioned this before in other videos. I feel like I mention it often enough, and I feel like it's kind of one of the things that I wish everybody knew, because I feel like so much of what we're going through, the crap that we're going through in the world, could be cut off if we all kind of got this one law embedded in us and acted accordingly. And that's the law of oneness, which states that we are all sourced from the same one divine energy source. Everything, all of us, everywhere, anywhere, at all times. We have all been and all are and all continue to be sourced from the same one divine source. Some people call that source God. Some people call that source Source. Some people call that source the Creator, the Creatrix, the Grandmother, the Grand Architect of the universe. Whatever you call it, have fun with that, okay? The point is, it's all the same one, okay? The energy is all from the same source, and it is all encompassing, and it's all pervasive, okay? It is in everything. The building that you see down the street as you're driving comes from the same energy source, the creative source that had to happen to create that building is the same creative sourcing energy that had to happen to create your dog, okay? It's all the same. And I love this one law because, again, if people treated people, things, animals, our earth, everything, if we treated it as if it were us, as if we were all from the same, as if we were all connected, because we are. If we treated it all as if we were connected, just think of how different life would be if everybody treated each other as if we were all connected, as if we all came from that same one source. I think it'd be awesome. But alas, here we are. Next law that I'm going to discuss is the law of vibration, which it basically states that everything in the universe vibrates. Everything is moving. Everything is constantly moving, and everything vibrates at its own certain frequency. Okay? So although it may look like something is still and solid, it's actually vibrating. That can be proven. Right? And the goal or the key is to understand that and kind of, I guess you can visualize it. It's kind of like an inner knowing, an inner feeling that everything is vibrating. A lot of, meditation can come in on that, tapping in on that vibratory feeling, right? You can kind of feel an energy field of vibration. If somebody comes into a room and they kind of light up a room, you can feel their, vibration. You've heard people talk about low vibing or high vibing people, right? Everything has a frequency. Everything is vibrating. I think that one's pretty cool. And I think that it'll play a key part when we get to, the law of attraction. I think what happens is people talk about the law of attraction, but they don't really get in on the law of vibration. You can't have the law of attraction and actually pull and manifest successfully without an understanding that there is a law of vibration as well. So there's that. So next up is the law of action. And the law of action simply states that you can't have anything without an action. Specifically, if you are talking about manifestation, some action has to be taken. Some may consider that action just a thought. Some may consider the action a writing. Some may consider the action an actual ritual that is done. And then, we go with the actual action of doing, right? I would like to build something. I would like to make something, or I would like to see something in existence, so I'm going to do it, right? I want to see a community of thriving, successful, people who look like me. I am going to have to do some action to create it, let's say. The law of action, very important. A lot of times people think, they're going to just manifest out of, some type of a wishing, it's coming to me, and then somehow it's, your perfect mate just knocks on your door. It could happen. Not likely. There is normally an action that has to be taken. Next up, the law of the perpetual transmutation of energy. And I love this law just because I like saying it. Like I feel like if ever you are out, pro tip, okay, you're out, you want to make someone think that you're smart or something, right? Just start talking about the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Maybe something along the lines of, and how do you feel about the perpetual transmutation of energy? See what they say. Look, don't take dating tips from me, okay? I'm perpetually single, so do not take dating tips from me. But if you needed to take a tip, I would go with that one. If you're sitting across from somebody and they kind of look at you and get the check instead, and don't want to talk about it, that could be a gauge for you, right? Anyway, so the law of the law of perpetual transmutation of energy basically says that energy, it aligns with the idea that energy cannot be created or destroyed, right? Energy changes, energy morphs, energy moves, right, from one form to another. This helps a lot of people, like when thinking about death, the idea that we don't really just stop existing. We just stop existing in that format. So transmutation of energy basically means that you can take something from one form and transmute it or change it into another form. Consider when people say, I took the bricks that people were throwing at me and I created a castle, right? That would be like, the simplified version of the perpetual transmutation of energy. It basically means that we can move the energy around us in the way that we feel necessary to make the changes that we want to see. You can take a negative outcome and turn it into a positive experience if you want to. You wake up grumpy, and you want to change that into a better day. You have the power to do so. It's actually one of the universal laws. So have at it, enjoy, nothing has to stay the way that it's supposed to stay. And actually, one of the laws says that nothing stays the way that it is because everything is moving, right? We just talked about the law of vibration. So everything is moving, constantly moving. Nothing stays the same. Nothing is stagnant when we're actually thinking about how energy works, right? Energy is always constantly moving. And so you have the power to move with said energy, change the energy, take energy and transform it into something else. You have that power. So that and it's gonna give you transmutation of energy, the perpetual transmutation of energy. Law of rhythm. I like this because my inner Virgo, which, hard for me to deal with, but my inner Virgo enjoys knowing that there are patterns in the world, right? And so the law of rhythm kind of identifies those patterns, right? They're cycles, they are rhythms. We go through 4 seasons, we go through 12 months. You go from seed to plant to tree. The tree drops a seed to plant to tree, right? They're all cycles we go through, birth, childhood, young adult, older, death, birth, childhood. There are cycles to everything. And the idea of being able to identify the rhythm, the cycle that you're in at a specific time and what has happened, the moon cycles aligning with a woman's menstrual cycle, it happens for a reason, right? Let's take these cycles, identify them, and understand them, and how they work for you. You're likely in a different cycle than someone else. You can't use someone else's cycle and identify it as your own, right? You have your own cycle, and a lot of the time the goal for us is to identify our own cycles. Understanding the law of rhythm does help us to navigate through our different phases of our life, so that we can be we can use those cycles, we can use those rhythms, and we can use those phases to work for us. The law of relativity states that everything in life is relative and highly subjective, okay? This law, highly important. I mean, they're all important. This one I find very important lately as everybody is in their social media phase. And it's basically, I find this important because, again, just like the cycles and how you cannot identify like with somebody else's cycles, you have to find your own cycles. Identifying with somebody else's whatever they have going on, it's all relative. It's all based on what they're looking at and the point of view of whoever is looking at whatever you're looking at, okay? Whatever's going on in your life right now, it is relative to how you see it. Do you see things positively? Do you see things negatively? Are you more pragmatic? Are you more pessimistic? Okay. What you're seeing is going to be relative to your thought process at that time. And that goes for everything. You're going to see someone's success. Do you see it as a positive? Do you see it as a negative? Does someone else see that same success as a positive or a negative? Two people can see the very same thing and see two different things. Happens all the time, right? And being able to understand that about us as humans, and know that in our human experiences, your viewpoint is going to be different than somebody else's viewpoint. It's very important, especially for growth, okay? Everybody's allowed to have their viewpoint. It just is. Some things just are. Okay. I also think that like the law of relativity, the law of relativity is very helpful as far as embracing like a non-attachment or non-judgmental form of lifestyle, right? I know that that seems like hard. People are so attached to what they feel like is right or what they feel like is normal, and being able to understand how the law of relativity works, that, you know, there's 8 billion of us or whatever the number is now, and we are all seeing a different point of view from different mindsets with different experiences, can allow us to squash some of that judgment that maybe you grew up with. You know, and again, just like the law of oneness, if maybe we embraced the law of relativity and were able to be more open to the idea that everything is so relative and objective, that maybe what I'm thinking is not the right thing all the time, right? And that's okay. It's fine. Life will go on. You know what I mean? Like, let's move forward. So the law of correspondence basically says that there is a connection between what we're thinking, what we're seeing, our beliefs, our internalized thought processes, those things which are like within us, and what we see on the outside. This is the law that corresponds to as within, so without, as above, so below. It is that we see the world as we are, right? Not necessarily as it is, right? Definitely touches similarly to the law of relativity, right? It's the idea that what I am, let's say, who I am at my core, in my inner being, my inner, the big I, who I am, is going to play a large role in what my experience is on the outside. Okay. And this we can talk about for days, months, years. There's whole books on, the seat of your soul, and being able to understand that, that who you are without being attached to anything else objectively, just who you are at your core. Finding that answer is going to change dramatically how you begin to see your world around you. That's the law of correspondence. So, I would go more into it, but how it works. We got time issues. Okay. The law of compensation. This is that one that everybody talks about. They kind of feel it's like karma, right? The law of compensation basically says that the energy that you put out, to the extent which you put it out, is what you're going to get back. I've mentioned this one before also. And I like this one, especially when we're talking about like people were doing like ritual and how much you want to get away with, maybe with your ritual. I don't know. We kind of discussed this in a Facebook group once about, maybe using cheap products, and I mentioned it when I talked in my video on an AliExpress tarot haul. Are we putting out the energy of poverty? Are we putting out the energy of lack? I don't have enough money to do what I want to do. I'm going to just have to suffer and deal with what I have and do it this way instead. Are we putting out the energy of not enough? And if you are, that is the energy that you likely will get back from your experiences. If you go into something with the energy of I'm not enough, then the reciprocating, compensating energy that you're going to get back will agree with you. And so this one is also very important. Like I said, they all are. But when talking about the law of attraction and you're manifesting, are you taking the steps, for example, for your business? If you are putting out there the energy of I don't have enough money to do something maybe the right way in your business, and you're like, I don't have the funds, I don't have enough money, I'm going to cut this corner, or I'm going to cut around this edge on this service that I'm providing, or I'm not going to add as much to my packaging, let's say. Just examples. And you put that energy out there as your business. Can you honestly expect that the abundance will come back to you? Are you expecting something more than what you put out there? Because that's not realistic, and it's also in direct opposition to the law of compensation. So just think about these things when you are putting your energy out there. The universe is definitely matching energy. You're going to get the energy back that you've put out in the extent that you've put it out. The law of polarity. Simply put, everything has an opposite. Everything has a backside, everything has a shadow. So there's hot and cold, up, down, in, out, female, male, good, bad. Everything has an opposite. And I think that the importance of the law of polarity is just to understand. Honestly, now I'm thinking about it, just right now, I think that what happens is when we are putting out what we're wanting into the universe, a lot of times we will say something along the lines of, I don't want a person who does blah, 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 right? Just in thought or in speech, we're saying, I hope that my car doesn't blah, 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 right? On your trip, or, you kind of, I hope there's no traffic. Very, basic one, right? The thing about the polarity law is that it's both the same. So hot and cold are the same. They're on that same, if you had a ball and, half of it was hot and half of it was cold, it's the same ball, right? So I'm going to give you a ball and it's the hot, cold ball, right? And I'm just, throwing it over to you as the hot, cold ball. You're just receiving the hot, cold ball. Now, the universe, from what I understand, others have said, does not acknowledge the not, if that makes sense. It's the idea that you have to be specific with what you are saying. I want hot, versus I want cold. The universe in our, just dealing with polarity hears I don't want cold as I want cold, right? I don't want hot as I want hot. Okay. You have to learn to use more words, basically, is I think where this one is kind of going. That's kind of the message I'm feeling from this one. We got to learn to use some more words. Okay. I want happiness versus I don't want to be sad. Because if you want happiness or you want bliss, why mention the sadness? Because they're kind of on the same ball, like I said. Okay, you're pulling out the ball there. The focus should be I want happiness, I want bliss, I want love, I want prosperity, I want peace, and maybe it's because of this law of polarity. Very similarly, but totally different than the law of polarity is the law of gender. And this law basically states that masculine and feminine energy live both all and within us. So there is masculine energy, there is feminine energy, they are both within us. We can identify and embrace and learn how to use and manipulate both portions of energy. And just, embrace the dualness of it all. The fact that we have masculine and feminine in most things. You can have a masculine creative force. You can have a feminine creative force. You can have a masculine, toxic masculinity. You can have toxic femininity. They are all, it's an all and type of a situation when we're talking about the law of gender. The law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is very important because, especially when you're talking about manifestation and the manipulation of energy with your law of attraction journey. But the law of cause and effect says that everything has at least one cause, and every thing that you do has at least one effect, or everything that happens has at least one effect. You can tie things back to a cause, but just know that it's likely multiple causes that happened to create, what your situation that you're trying to identify. So, for example, this video, which now I think is taken 6 times, I don't know, as of right now, this video has multiple causes, right? Someone had to have come up with the camera technology that caused, me to say, hey, I want to buy the camera, that, said, I want to create the video. You would think the video happened because I wanted to create a video. But there were multiple causes in play even before the I want to make the video, right? I had to have seen the video. YouTube had to have existed. Cameras had to be made. The technology of the internet had to happen. My parents had to meet each other. Multiple causes. So, and at the same time, when we are thinking of something that we want, we have to consider the effects of the thing that we're doing, right? I make this video. What is the effect that I'm hoping for? My intention and what I'm hoping for could be positive, right? It could all blow up in my face, right? I mean, who knows, right? So, you can have effects that you don't know about or you don't think about that happen after a situation. And you can also trace situations back to multiple causes. There's cause, there's effect. Every cause has at least, one effect, and every effect has multiple causes, really. It's very odd. I don't know how that happened, the math on that, but I'm just going to go with it. Okay, so now, all of that being said, I can now, I feel confident enough that I can now bring to you, knowing the back of the 11 other laws, we can discuss how the law of attraction is intermingled, entwined, and dependent upon the other universal laws, okay? A lot of people see The Secret and they think, okay, yeah, like attracts like. I just have to think it, and it will be as a man thinketh, so he is. And then you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna think rich. I'm gonna think rich. I'm gonna think rich. I'm gonna think and grow rich, right? And you're wondering, like, why isn't it working for you? Because I know I've been there, right? There have been some times where I'm like, bruh, what is happening? Why isn't this working for me? You know? And it comes down to the idea of, am I considering all of the other things in play? Did I put out, as far as compensation, let's say, when I'm putting out the energy that I'm trying to attract, am I putting it out half-assed? Am I giving an actual all in on the energy that on the vibration that I'm trying to attract back to me? Am I, did I cheat on a test and then expect that the outcome is going to give me the payment that I was hoping for? As far as, let's say, like you become a doctor or something, like, are you expecting, having cheated your way through medical school, that now somehow you are going to become this world-renowned doctor and make buku dollars? Like, you gotta understand, like, is your vibration there? Are you vibrating at the right frequency to what you are trying to attract? The cause and effect. Are you thinking about how what you are trying to attract will affect others in your life? And in the same vein, the law of oneness. Are you considering that we are all connected and we're all in this together? And is what you are trying to attract something that's going to mess us all up? The law of polarity. When you are considering what you're saying, are your words aligning fully with what you are wanting? Are you, I'm all in on this, or are you kind of backtracking? Well, I really didn't want that per se. I kind of just want this instead. I don't really want to be CEO. I really just wanted to kind of, do operation stuff, or, you know what I mean? Are you aligning fully with what you are saying going forward? Is that energy all in? Are you understanding how the transmutation of energy can affect your manifestation, right? Sometimes you may see something and it's not exactly the iteration that you wanted yet. Right? You wanted, you wanted, I don't know, you wanted lemon sorbet or something, and somehow you ended up with a lemon tree instead. And are you seeing that maybe this is just the next step? I wanted lemon sorbet. Somehow all I got was a stupid lemon tree, right? That's not what I wanted. Take it back. That's not what I wanted. Or are you able to see, okay, next step in my lemon sorbet journey is taking this lemon tree and maybe growing some lemons. Maybe getting these lemons and juicing the lemons, right? In order to get to the next step in your manifestation. Are you understanding how the law of action works? That you actually do have to do something sometimes, right? Are you understanding, how the law of action is going to play in your manifestation journey, and putting that into consideration? Because a lot of times what happens is, and I know you've seen that that meme of the guy who's like digging in the tunnel And as he's digging in the tunnel, he gets to just before his diamonds, and then he kind of like, he's like, all right, I've been doing this for far too long. I'm stopping. I'm done, right? A lot of times a manifestation has a very similar path, right? Like I said with your sorbet, like you're all in on sorbet, and somehow you don't see that, getting this, lemon tree or these lemon seeds or, this basket of fruit that has a bunch of lemons in it, is helping it's progress along your path. Okay, are you, or even with the law of relativity, are you seeing what someone else has done? Are you a Lord, I have seen what you have done for others, and you're expecting a very similar outcome for yourself without truly understanding the backstory, and maybe the negative things that had to happen for that other person before they even got to that shiny, flashy thing that you're looking at on the interwebs, All of this comes into play with the law of attraction. And there's so many other things that we can discuss, even on a one-on-one basis, because as I told you, I'm a coach now. We could discuss and maybe, get you maybe on a better path. Or, just maybe get the mindset a little tweaked a little bit. And if there's anything that we discussed today on this video, and when I say we, I mean me, I get it. You might be talking back. I feel like you could be talking while I'm talking. Like I'm saying something and you're like, what, Asia, you're right. That could be happening. I'm not putting that out. I'm not against it. Okay, so if you're talking back, then I'm saying we discussed. And if there's anything that we discussed that you would like to know more about, you would like to maybe us go into a deeper dive on, maybe you are interested in a deep dive course that I'm still now thinking is going to happen at the top of the Gregorian calendar year, go ahead and leave a message, and we can get in deeper on that. Also, if and when such a thing comes up, you would want to be on my email list, and the best way to do that is to go to my website, which is in the YouTube profile. I think it's IamAliacia.com. You can go there and get on the email list, and then that way, when something comes out, you know about it. Courses, new coaching, new videos, new rants, blogs, because I'm changing over the website now. So, so much more. If I have new products, if you've seen anything that I've made and I've posted it here or on my Instagram that I've made it, it's likely for sale. And I've put a link likely to my Etsy page. And I also do things custom. So there's all of that. So with all of that being said, if you liked this, just make sure you like the video. Please, just like the video and share it with somebody if you want to. Help them on their manifestation journey. Yeah, and so until then, and until next time, I am still Asia, the Soulful Creatrix, and I'm wishing you nothing but love, peace, and many continued blessings. Bye. Next up, we can discuss the law of, really, dude? Hey, lay down somewhere. It's my dog. Next up, we can discuss, really? No, it's not gonna happen. Just lay down. He's like, he waits until I start talking, right? Okay.